What happens when you find a cello online that costs less than 300 American dollars and it looks like this? Today, I'm going to share with you what I think about the black cello we see online. I'm going to share some music with you on it and give you an honest opinion if you should purchase this for yourself or your child. So without further ado, let's just get right into the review. This instrument does not come with tapes. This is from one of my students that has been learning with me, and of course, I recommend tapes. They really stand out, so they do not come with tapes. Unlike the last review I did on the electric cello, it's very much a cello. It has all the classic form, it has a decent bridge, it has 4 strings, and it stays relatively in tune. So you can expect to definitely begin on your quest for cello on one of these instruments. Second thing that you would possibly like about it is that it's quite durable. The wood is a variation of maple and the grain is very tight. It's heavily lacquered, so you're not going to expect any sort of wear and tear. You can put stickers on it, you can spray paint it. This is a great cello, what we call garden cellos. Cellos for the outside that you can sweat on, spill water on, take to a jam session, have beer spilled on it. This is not one of your nice cellos you play in chamber music or an orchestra. So for those of you looking for an instrument that can get tossed around and maybe abused a little bit, look at one of these instruments. With that said, let's take a closer look at some of the components of this that may sway your opinion about this instrument. Starting at the bottom here, this tailpiece is not original, it was replaced. As you see, the one I suggest to all my students. Some of the strings are original. Most of these are actually preludes, so you're looking at some new strings here. The bridge is nothing special. It's not Aubert, so nothing wrong, but it was actually shaped a decent way. Moving on up the cello, we have the fingerboard here, and this is what I was talking to you about. This is what happens after a couple years of playing the cello. This right here is the paint that comes off the cello. This is not genuine ebony, it's just painted maple. Having pegs that stay in tune is quite possibly the biggest thing wrong with this instrument because they don't stay in tune. The fingerboard that's painted for me is a big minus, but for some of you, it's not important. But the pegs being of a soft wood that with the weather changes, the moisture changes, this soft wood does not allow the instrument to stay in tune, no matter what you do. If you go onto Amazon in the United States and check the reviews, one of the biggest complaints is the fact that these pegs do not keep the instrument in tune, which is a super big negative. But this one stays in tune. And you know why? Because my student brought it to the luthier and had these pegs specially treated with a type of glue that you can use on pegs. And so, take it to a luthier and get some treatment for the pegs and it will work pretty good. But again, that requires a trip to your luthier. Besides those things, it's a playable instrument. And to prove that, I'm going to play it for you. The third fact I like to talk about today is the package that you usually purchase with this instrument, which comes with a bow, a bag, some extra set of strings, a stand to set the cello on, and some rosin. Of the 5 things that you will get included with your purchase of this wonderful black cello, there are only 2 that are worth any while to you. That is the bag, which is of good quality and can be reused for other cellos, and the cello stand, which can be used for guitars as well. Besides those 2 things, the strings are of terrible quality. Throw those directly in the garbage or use it for gardening. The rosin you can use as a door stopper or throw that directly in the garbage too. It's worth nothing to you. And the bow. I'm sorry, but this is not the original bow that came with this cello because the prior one was so unplayable, just like the one you saw in the electric cello video, that it had to be purchased. So this was an additional €80 purchase here at the luthier because it's just a simple fact you're going to have to buy a bow with these instruments. In conclusion, if you're looking for an instrument that is less than $300 and you're willing to spend an additional $100 to $200 or euros on a bow and different components, this cello is the right cello for you. Usually at the end of my videos, I say, thanks for watching. Please like if you learned something today and consider subscribing, which I have to say because it's YouTube. But what I do want to share with you is I've learned a lot about these cellos, these last 2 cellos I've reviewed. I've learned that they mean a lot to you guys, the ones that cannot afford north of $1,000 to get into cello. They're accessible. And that's what I base this entire channel on. Making cello, making music on cello accessible to everyone. This instrument was purchased by my student here because she really loved the cello, but she was in her 50s, has never played the instrument in her life, loves classical music, but couldn't read music. So we started from nothing. And she started with this. And that is a typical story a lot of you will bring to this journey, is the fact that this is the beginning for a lot of you, and it's okay. So go out there, make a wise decision, purchase an instrument, find a luthier, and keep on watching because I think we're all going to learn a lot.